You probably think Apple removing the headphone jack on iPhone 7 was just marketing. But what if I told you that decision could have destroyed what was, by far, their most valuable product? The AirPods launch wasn't just about ditching cables. It was a moment when Apple bet the future of their company on tech that experts thought would fail big time. You're about to find out just how risky this bet really was. On September 7th, 2016, Apple's senior VP of worldwide marketing, Phil Schiller, stands on stage and announces that the iPhone 7 will ship without a headphone jack. He calls the decision courageous. We're talking about a headphone jack, Phil, not storming the beaches of Normandy. For this, The Guardian wrote that they were roundly mocked by the tech industry. But what most people didn't know was that this plan had been years in the making. After digging through several of Apple's patent filings dating back to 2011, what struck me wasn't just the technical complexity. It was how many brilliant engineers focused on every detail of this project whose stories we may never know. To understand why AirPods were such a risky move for Apple, you need to be aware of the many companies that tried and failed before them. In 2014, a German startup called Bragi launched truly wireless earbuds called the Dash. They raised over $3 million on Kickstarter. People were excited. Finally, someone would cut the cord and give us wireless earbuds that worked. People gladly shelled out $179 for the Dash, only to be disappointed. They had terrible battery life, constant connection drops, and an incredibly frustrating pairing process. Eventually, Bragi discontinued the Dash. Then there was Iren. With their sleek Swedish design, another well-funded company with brilliant designers, and the same issues. You couldn't put your phone in your pocket or walk more than a few paces from it without having dropouts. And given the battery life, it was eventually just a $300 paperweight. Doppler Labs tried too, as did Skybuds. They all failed for the same reasons. Standard Bluetooth technology wasn't up to the task. You know that feeling when you miss a call because you can't untangle your wired earphones in time? Or when the cables yank the buds out of your ears by catching on a doorknob? That frustration was real. People wanted wireless, but so far, every attempt at making them had failed. Bluetooth was created in the 90s to replace keyboard and mouse cables, not deliver high-quality audio to your ears. The technology wasn't there yet, but what the critics didn't know was Apple saw something other companies missed. On March 29, 2011, Jorge Fino, an Apple engineer, filed a patent for earphones that could work with or without wires. The patent shows earpod-style headphones with detachable cables. It wasn't purely wireless yet, but it was the beginning of something. The patent describes creating a pleasurable listening experience, especially during periods of physical activity. That's evidence that someone at Apple was working towards solving the problem at least 5 years before AirPods launched. Interestingly, in 2005, Steve Jobs told press in Paris that Bluetooth headphones had quality issues and that people didn't want to recharge their headphones. The technology wasn't ready then. But by 2011, someone inside Apple believed it could be. For 5 years, the project sat somewhere in Apple's labs, waiting. Not for marketing, not for the right moment. Apple was biding their time until every problem was elegantly solved so that they could make a truly impressive product. For instance, the engineers could have used a simple hinge for the charging case lid. Open, close, and done. Instead, they designed an elaborate system using magnets and torsion springs to create what they called bistable operation. The lid wants to snap either fully closed or fully open, never stuck in between. A tiny detail most people never consciously notice. But it's also the kind of thing you fidget with absent-mindedly, because it just feels good. Someone spent time thinking about the psychology of fidgeting and used magnetic forces to satisfy that impulse. There are many sophisticated solutions hidden inside that simple-looking case, such as a coil of wire that awakens the moment you place an earbud inside. You see, every AirPod has a magnet inside for its speaker. When you slide the earbud into the case, that magnet passes through the coil of wire, disturbing the magnetic field. That disturbance creates an electrical current all on its own without depending on the battery. It's totally passive. The case uses that signal to know an earbud has been inserted, so it can automatically start charging and turn off the Bluetooth signal to save battery. Instead of using battery power, this sensor harnesses one of the fundamental forces of the universe: electromagnetism. These engineers understood that the most elegant solutions work with nature, not against it. It's the same principle that powers hydroelectric dams, scaled down to something you can hold in your palm. These weren't the problems that killed Bragi or Iren. Those companies failed because they were settling for a version of Bluetooth that wasn't designed with their dream in mind. Enter Johnny Srouji, Apple's head of silicon engineering, a former Intel and IBM engineer who had joined Apple. His philosophy: if it's not gated by physics, it's doable. Hard is good. Easy is a waste of time. The W1 chip? That was hard. A piece of silicon measuring smaller than your pinky nail. Apple marketed it as the solution for instant pairing and amazing battery life. It delivered both. But what the W1 really represented was Srouji's team and their engineering talent solving every problem that had killed wireless earbuds before. Most wireless headphones use Class 2 Bluetooth, like what you find in wireless keyboards and mouses. It only has a range of 30 feet. The W1 uses Class 1 Bluetooth instead. That's the kind of Bluetooth normally only used in industrial automation systems and wireless sensors in large facilities. This kind of equipment has to be plugged into walls because of the power requirements. Class 1 Bluetooth has a range of 300 feet, 10 times that of Class 2. Apple getting that kind of power and range into a tiny, battery-powered chip was a true technical achievement. Engineers have analyzed the W1 to try to figure out how they accomplished this. Some suspected that the chip wasn't doing the heavy lifting alone, that instead, the instant pairing across Apple devices might have been clever software work happening through iCloud and handoff. The W1 enabled it, but software engineers coordinating device handoffs through the cloud could have been the real innovation. Either way, Srouji's team solved problems that had stumped everyone before them. But in October of 2016, things didn't look so hopeful. AirPods were supposed to have launched. They didn't. Apple announced they were not ready yet. 1 month passed. Then 2. Then 3. The press speculated there were production problems. Analysts worried about the holiday shopping season. Maybe Apple really had made a catastrophic mistake. No reason was ever given for the delay. But it looked like the company could be in serious trouble. The iPhone 7 had already released in September. Without a headphone jack, Apple included workarounds in the box. Lightning earpods that plugged into the charging port, and a dongle so you could use your old headphones. But these weren't solutions. They were compromises. You could no longer charge your phone while listening to music. The adapter was a tiny white piece of plastic perfectly designed to fall out of your pocket and disappear forever. People hated them. Finally, in December 2016, AirPods reached stores. And something unexpected happened. The first reviews came back raving. People who got their hands on AirPods couldn't believe how well they worked. The pairing really was instant. The battery life actually lasted 5 hours. They didn't fall out of your ears like people thought they would. The case really did make charging painless. Every problem that had killed previous wireless earbuds had been solved. Within months, AirPods became what Apple CEO Tim Cook called a cultural phenomenon. You started seeing them everywhere, on subways, at gyms, in coffee shops. Celebrities wore them in public. That distinctive white stem became as iconic as the white earbuds had been a decade earlier. Apple couldn't manufacture them fast enough. By 2019, AirPods had become one of Apple's most successful products yet. Estimates say AirPods generated more revenue than Spotify, Twitter, and Snapchat combined. The product everyone said would fail had become a multi-billion-dollar business. The engineers who designed that magnetic snap, Johnny Srouji's Silicon team who made the W1 work, Jorge Fino who filed that first patent back in 2011 when the technology wasn't ready yet. They turned Apple's risky bet into one of the most successful consumer electronics products of the decade. Apple bet everything on wireless earbuds that everyone said would fail. But that's nothing compared to Sony's gamble in the 90s when they partnered with their biggest competitor and accidentally created the PlayStation. You can watch that story next, here on Tech Origins HQ.